All right, what's going on? Welcome back, Idaho Sports Talk. Prater The Ballgame, hour number 2. Talk some college football this hour, talking about some of the best games of the week with Lee Sterling. We'll catch in with a local high school football coach for our Mountain West Bank Prep rally. But first, Prater, let's start with some high school talk, and excited about this segment.
Yes, sir. Let's get smarter today, Ballgame.
18 states currently, plus the District of Columbia, so 19 have high school student athlete NIL policies. They have rules in place. Idaho, you might be surprised, yes, is one of them. We haven't heard a lot about NIL yet at the high school level in this state. So we welcome the executive director of the IHSAA, good friend of the show for a long time, Ty Jones. What's going on? And welcome back to the show, Ty. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hope you guys are doing well too.
Well, we're doing pretty darn good, Ty. We appreciate you. And I guess we'll just start on this sucker with what is the policy and the plan, so to speak, for NIL opportunities for high school student athletes in this state?
Well, it's it's pretty simple from our standpoint. Last year when we first started looking at it, we kind of took the Oregon's policy in New York and California and kind of tried to get something fairly simple. And so basically our policy is just that athletes can promote businesses, can be in commercials, endorsements, provided there's no school team, school, league, district, or IHSA affiliation involved. So it would be something along the lines of, a student could go and be in a commercial, but they couldn't wear their, Bora High School uniform, for example, something along those lines.
Ty Jones, executive director of the Idaho High School Activities Association. We're talking name, image, and likeness. Big movement on the college level, and it's now affected and impacted 19 states, including Idaho, where there is a policy. Ty, how controversial was this, or was this for you guys a slam dunk?
Really, it's a really good question. Our board really hadn't heard too much about it. And one of the things that when we were watching all these other states start talking about it, we thought we should have something in place just in case. We had received a couple of phone calls. But as far as controversial for us, really not at all. It was something that, we brought forth to our board. They took a look at it and, we told them right from the start, this is something it's a moving target for us. It's brand new to us, but we should have something in case people continue to ask, because as I said, we had a few people, not a lot, but a few people ask what could they do?
Yeah, you've done your proactive work, and it's probably not controversial because I'm going to go out here and I have mixed feelings about how it works in this state and in this community with Boise State, and Boise State does a great job. I'm not sure it works on the other end in terms of the local business and the local communities. So maybe it's not controversial for you, is because here in the state of Idaho, it's not top of mind. It's not something we think about, and I don't see a lot of companies, businesses, and other organizations showing up with some cash for these student athletes. So maybe it's just early for its time, and you've got the policy, and 5 years down the road, it might become important. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. When we first started looking at it, Mike, it was, where you see most of the kids in the very beginning are in your arts, your speech arts, and your movies, and those types of things.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where it first started in a lot of the other states. And then as you saw the athletics get involved with it, ironically, I was talking with the executive director from California just the other day, and I said, how many kids do you think you have? And he said, probably 0.05, not even 1%.
Wow.
You're talking, in the state of California, a few thousand kids. So if you do the math, and let's say we're proportionate to California, you're talking, maybe 100 kids in our state, and maybe. And I doubt it's even that much yet.
Again, we're being joined by the executive director of the IHSAA. He's Ty Jones, good friend of the show, talking about student athletes at the high school level, being able to pursue NIL opportunities. Ty, you said you filled in a couple of calls on this. People just kind of putting their foot in the water, feeling this out. And obviously no names or schools or whatever, but what were those calls in reference to? Was it money? Was it, hey, if this kid wears a t-shirt every Wednesday, this local pizza joint is going to give him free pizzas for the football season? What type of calls did you field, Ty?
Yeah, they were concerned that first of all, they didn't want to break any IHSA rules, and as we explained to them, when we received the calls, it was give us another couple months because we're still in the process of getting it going. But I think they're probably mostly concerned, as they should be. What could this potentially do to their college scholarships? The athletes or the parents that I spoke to had athletes that are going to play at the next level, and they just wanted to make sure that they were following all rules so that all their I's were dotted and T's were crossed, so that they didn't find themselves in hot water with our association, and potentially with, when they would ask about what about the college level, I said, you really need to contact the colleges that you are potentially looking at, just so you're not in trouble with them either.
Ty, in terms of the IHSAA stance and in terms of your stance, I mean, do you want schools to be proactive? Should schools be proactive? Should kids be proactive? And, there's a tight end at Boise State that kind of went out and shopped his own deal. Boise State is very
Sure.
proactive and has become this national leader. Are you okay with schools really, really pushing this? And at the end of the day, are we really comfortable with high school kids getting paid for being good athletes?
That's a really loaded question.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, and I'll give you a semi-loaded answer, I guess. If you're asking us, are we okay with high school athletes being paid? No, we're not. To a certain extent. I mean, we firmly believe that kids own, as you say, name, image, and likeness are theirs, and whatever, that it should be controlled by them. But we're also, we're an education-based organization, and we also look at it as the vast majority of our kids in our state are not going to be playing at the next level. And we're very concerned. Probably our biggest concern is if you had a superstar athlete who started getting, think best case scenario for them, if you look nationally, tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. What does that do to the locker room situation? What's that do to the chemistry of the basketball team or the volleyball team? And to us, that's, we'd like to think of us as like kind of like the last pure bastion of amateur athletics, and anything that we can do to hopefully keep that, but allow kids some leeway, we felt that was the best route to go.
Ty Jones again with us, Executive Director, IHSAA. And I mean, how would this work? Like, I don't know what certain transfer rules are like, but we're not going to be living in a world where, the Boise High School quarterback, we find out all of a sudden he's at Rocky Mountain because a Rocky Mountain booster is going to give him an NIL deal and maybe pay for his transportation to and from school with a car at the local dealership so he can drive to school every day. Plus, he needs to wear this dealership's hat, 3 days a week, something like that. I mean, is that somehow, some way within the rules? Could you guys block that? Because I think we're going down a deep path where maybe if there's a lot of schools in one central area like Boise, you might see this type of recruiting and say, hey, son, come play quarterback here. We're better, and we'll give you a car. My dad owns the dealership.
Yeah, you're giving me nightmares.
Yeah, dude.
That we do have rules in there in our rules and regulations that would make that not legal. Now you have to be able to prove those types of things, and we like to think that the vast majority of we don't worry too much about our schools and our the vast majority of our coaches doing things like that and offering kids. It's the outside organizations and businesses, and they have a business to run, and if they think that they can make money, then hopefully that's how they're looking at it. Hopefully they're not looking at it as trying to recruit, but if as everybody knows, it all trickles downhill, and you see the endorsements that the professional athletes get, which has now trickled down to the college athletes. And then it's just a matter of time before it starts to trickle down into the high school level. So anything that we can do to, kind of block some of those things as best we can and stop them from happening at all is what we're going to attempt to keep doing.
Ty Jones, Executive Director, Idaho High School Activities Association, talking name, image, and likeness. I think you alluded to it earlier. I just wanted to confirm. Do you know of any single cases, name, image, and likeness cases by Idaho high school student athletes? Is there even one out there right now that you know of?
I don't know of any. Just the people that called that said that they had been approached, but we don't require. I mean, Mike, if they had, we wouldn't require them to tell us about it.
Gotcha.
That's on their dime. But I haven't heard of any.
I think we're living in a world now where maybe not in Idaho. Maybe Idaho's not going to follow suit. And it sounds like Ty Jones is kind of hoping that's the case, where the best high school athlete in the state or in a big city is going to be making six figures a year. It just feels like we're going in that direction. And if not, well, some school's going to come in and that kid's going to move somewhere, and dang it, we're going to take advantage and we're going to help our families and we need this money. And just feels like, wow, money is playing such a factor into amateur sports now. And it's going to be weird to see where this goes. Ty, what's best case scenario for Idaho and the IHSAA in regards to student athlete NIL opportunities?
Well, the best case scenario would be that they don't do it until they reach the NCAA level or NAIA level, whatever level at the the next at the collegiate level. But we're not naive about this. We know it's going to happen at some point. The best case scenario would be that it would be something that would not impact the schools or the teams at all, and is something that the student could look back positively and not impact his high school career and playing situation at all while he's still a high schooler. That would be ideal for us.
All right, Ty. Well, continue the great work you and your team does down there at the IHSAA, and we always appreciate you coming on and making us smarter about this stuff. Now, go ease up a little bit. Try not to be so stressed out, bro.
Okay, I'll work on it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good stuff. Always fun having Ty Jones on. Let's talk about some of the biggest college football matchups of the week and the NFL, Prater. And this is a big-time week for that.
There is a lot of big games this weekend.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Get on over here. Bring you in on the Fat Guys Fresh Deli Hotline, talking college football when we come back. And tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. at KTIK.com, your sweet deal of the week. It's from Land Ocean, that new restaurant on on Eagle Road in Meridian. You're going to give us $25. We're going to give you $50 back in gift certificates. Friday, 9 a.m. at KTIK.com.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studio.